I'm gonna rewatch it on Sunday.
Okay.
But we're gonna get into it right now.
No, okay. Welcome to another Mikereative cast. We are here. We're going to talk about Game of Thrones. That's what the title of the video says, and that's what we're going to do. Episodes 1 and 2. And by the time you guys watch it, episode 3 will be out, but we will discuss 3 and 4.
Let's hope not 4 comes out, Michael.
Yeah. What?
He takes his time sometimes. It's okay. That Game of Thrones one was supposed to be out a week before.
Oh, yeah, it's
Yeah,
fine. It
yeah,
came out like
whatever.
Saturday, the day before.
Expect this episode at the end of the season. That's what it's going to be.
There you go. There you go.
Why are they still talking about Game of Thrones episode 1 and 2?
Yeah, 6 is already done.
Everyone died already. God.
Oh, God, I know.
Oh, my God.
It's coming.
It's coming. Winter
It's
is
so
here.
coming. So before we get into discussions,
Mhm.
episode 1 and 2,
Beer of the show.
beer of the show.
Cool. Introduce it, Michael.
We got Duchesse de Bourgogne.
Bourgogne?
It's a Flemish sour. Let's see. Authentic Flemish red ale brewed and bottled in Belgium. This refined ale, also known as the Bourgondies of Belgium, is a blend of beer matured in different oak casks for many months. 100% natural. Gold medal World Beer Cup. Rated exceptional. Beverage Testing Institute. Wow, that's pretty good. So it's a Belgian beer.
Nice.
Flemish sour. 6% alcohol by volume. This is a nice big bottle.
Where'd you get this from?
World Market.
Nice.
Yeah, and we did the other Duchess, the cherry chocolate, like a few weeks ago. Well, a few podcasts ago. That one was delicious. But
This is the regular
that's
one.
the same. Yeah, this is like the same.
This is the
makers,
base.
but this is the base one.
Gotcha. All right, well, salute.
Cheers.
Wow, that's really sweet.
It is actually.
That's super sweet. I'm
surprised. I was expecting more of like that red taste, the red ale taste.
Yeah.
You know, something a little bit more like malty, kind of caramely.
But
This is like
it tastes like a strawberry like Fanta soda. That's what it tastes like.
almost, yeah.
It has like that hint of it. It has like not such a strong taste to it.
I like
but that's what
knowing
it is.
too that it's 100% natural.
That's cool.
That makes me feel good in my belly.
I wonder if it's open air fermented.
Oh yeah, that's true. I wonder.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, from that part of the world, I'm sure it's more like open.
Yeah, true.
Yes.
True.
Great stuff.
Okay,
I
well
like it.
that is actually really delicious. So you can go check that out and try it out for yourself.
Yep.
So Game of Thrones time.
Game of Thrones.
Oh, the premiere was great. It was so good.
It was so good.
It was so good.
I loved it. Go for it.
I was just excited to see everyone back on the screen again. You
Yeah.
know? I mean, you had. Yeah, well, we all watched it,
Mm-hmm.
but we rewatched everything, right?
Yeah.
Right from the first episode all
The first
the way
episode.
to, just so we can kind of get ourselves back in the Game of Thrones mood. But man, it was awesome seeing everyone on there, and just the funny bits of like the dragon just super staring at Jon,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then like it just good stuff, super good stuff.
I mean, the opening scene with all of them coming through, and you don't realize until now. It's like this is the first time Tyrion's gonna see Sansa. This
Right.
is the first time the Hound is gonna see Arya.
Yeah.
Arya and Gendry, Jon and Arya.
And then you don't even like realize how big her army actually is. And when
Yeah.
she's marching through, you're like, holy crap, there's a
lot
lot
of
of
people.
people.
There's
There's
a
a
lot
lot
of
of people that she's kind of like gotten on her side.
Yeah, they definitely want that on their side. I mean, it was just crazy just to see everybody. I mean, you've been waiting for 2 years to see this.
Yeah.
So it was exciting to see everybody come in, and you got to see all your favorite characters. You got to see everyone. And like, well, at least in that shot, you got to see most of everyone.
Yeah,
And you see
true.
Arya kind of just like picking out like the people that she was like, I'm kind of excited, whatever. And then obviously she was gaga over Gendry and seeing him. You know, she just had this
I
little
really like the
smirk.
parallels between the first episode and this first episode of the season.
Oh, how
You know,
how they do the entrance. And all
Yeah,
that
and you
stuff
have
with the
Bran
king.
running through, and then him climbing, and then you have a little bit of Arya with her helmet on and kind of like going through, and then you have the kid in the very beginning who's the one who's running through. And kind
Oh,
of
that's true.
almost mimicking what Bran and Arya did in the very first episode.
It's actually the same entrance song too.
Oh yeah.
It's the same entrance song. So they directly, link
Tie in that first episode.
from that
It's
episode
really cool.
to the first episode of the last season.
I thought the first episode was really awesome. I'm getting a sense of crazy Dany, honestly.
a little bit, yeah.
You see it, but it's like it's barely there. But I think she's just doing a good job at like purposely concealing it because every now and then she's like, "But I'm her queen," and then you kind of get this like, "Oh, geez, what if she goes bad?" You know, like
Yeah.
what's gonna happen? You know, what's gonna go on with the story if she starts to turn into the Mad King type of thing?
I mean, from that first episode, you're gonna wonder how the dynamic between Sansa and Dany are, because now
true.
Sansa's become this character who's just super headstrong, super. I feel like I should be in a position of leadership or something of the sort.
She's
And
the
she's the lady,
what is it?
lady of the North.
The mentor was Littlefinger.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? She learned, even though grudgingly, she still learned from him. You know what I mean? And used his own tactics against himself. You know.
I mean, she has learned from the craziest of the crazy. She was there with Cersei, and that's a huge character.
Yep.
Tyrion is actually a huge mastermind in terms of that. She interacted with him, with Littlefinger, and we forget King Joffrey,
And Ramsay.
And Ramsay.
And
So
Ramsay.
she is just built like no other. And I could probably argue that she has either gone through as much, if not more, than what Dany has went through.
Yeah, I think
In some
everyone.
aspects.
Yeah, exactly. I think almost every character, in their own way, has gone through a horrible ordeal, and that's the whole point of like Game of Thrones, essentially, right?
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool to kind of tie them together and be like, how much has Dany suffered? How much has Sansa suffered? Or how much have they grown even and developed as characters to then now they're like looking at each other and talking face to face, and it's like this, oh, hey, these are two strong, feminine, characters that are like, they're going to butt heads for sure.
Look at Jon Snow over there bending the fucking knee, Jon Snow. It's like, you know what? You guys fight it out. I'll be okay. I'm going to be over here. That's what he basically feels like. It's like, I love her. Oh, you're my sister. Can't we all just get along type thing?
And then what about Sam? Bringing that up to Jon, and now Jon actually fully understands his actual past.
Yeah, I think everyone's kind of been waiting for...
He was not expecting it.
No, he was not. It's interesting for that to finally come into fruition. And I was super excited when he finally found out. I was like, I'm somebody. Like, I'm not nobody. He finally come to the realization, like...
He's not a Snow.
He's not a Snow.
Yeah.
He has parents. And not only does he have parents, but he is the heir to the actual Iron Thrones. He is the son of Rhaegar Targaryen, as well as a part of the actual Stark family and a part of the Stark lineage, which he always felt he had, but now he actually has more of a not a calling, more of a...
more of a position behind him.
Position behind it. So, he could literally, if he wanted to, he can get the North to stand behind him.
And get the South to stand behind him.
the South to stand behind him. So, it's going to be an interesting dynamic, and that's what brings us to episode 2.
Well, with episode 2, you kind of think, like, how did he take it? You know what I mean? And he's kind of ignoring Dany the whole time. But when she finally finds him down in the crypts, he's not standing in front of Ned. He's standing in front of Lyanna.
Lyanna Stark.
And so it's almost like he's come to terms like, that is my mom. And oh my gosh, this is something that I can be a part of now.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see that because you don't really think about it if you're just kind of like watching it. But if you kind of break it down, the fact that he is standing in front of his mom is almost like an acceptance of who he is.
Yeah.
He is accepting it. If he wasn't, he'd probably be standing in front of, his father.
This has been a character throughout the entire season who's never who's always wanted to be in charge, and you kind of had that sense he's always been a leader, but he's never had that right. You know, get what I'm
or
saying?
he's never really pushed for it. He never really wants to be a leader, but he ends up becoming one.
Because now he has the rightful. I would assume he's the rightful heir to.
Yeah, essentially.
To the North,
because he's the last living male heir, and that usually is who the successor is.
Yeah.
And then see again, you get a taste of Crazy Dany because she doesn't say, "Oh, that's amazing. I have another Targaryen family with me." It's, what are you gonna do on the are you gonna try to take the throne from me type of thing?
That's what she's immediately defensive.
Really, okay, so maybe Crazy Dany is gonna come out where situations are going to settle with the enemy, but then the enemy becomes both of them type of thing.
It's an interesting balance how you have all this political power shifting. You see all these people who kind of want to rise up to a certain thing. But everyone forgets that their demise is coming. They have the potential of possibly dying.
Case in point, Cersei. Her not even bringing her armies up and waiting for the Golden Company to come because she's literally going to take on the rest of everyone who comes down.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's stupid. It's really, I think in that time, we need to protect ourselves type of thing. But when you see something that's literally dead that's come back to life, that is almost almost like a wake-up call. You got to think okay, let's think tactically and smart and actually work together to defeat a common enemy. And then once that's done, then we can go back to being enemies type of thing.
But it's so Cersei. It's so very much like her.
Totally.
Which is cool because then you finally get to see how Cersei continues to stay on a certain path, but Jaime finally makes that turn to where I can't.
He can't stand for it.
And there's times where it's his character development's oh no, you really want to root for him. Then he kind of treads back a little bit. Root for him, treads back for it. Where did he take? He took I forgot the prisoner from the marriage, from the red wedding. What's his name again? It's one of the.
Oh yeah. The river one, the river run, Tully.
Yeah, Tully. And he goes and says, "Hey, you guys can all basically die." And I remember that, the only thing that matters is myself and Cersei, and that's all that matters. That's literally all that mattered. Until that point, to where it clicked in his head, oh snaps, we're all gonna die. That's the thing that really kind of just changed.
Well, not only that, but it's oh snaps, we're all gonna die, and my freaking sister is still trying to play a political game.
Lover sister.
Yeah, my lover / sister is still trying to play a political game when it's actually the living versus the dead.
Yeah.
And so then he's I can't even stand for her anymore. And it's cool to see that he's finally, moved on and hopefully, reconciled and moved past it. You know what I mean?
I mean that Jaime and Bran at the end of season or the episode 1.
Oh yeah.
That was crazy. Because, like I said, it comes rushing back to you. It's the last time they seen each other, Bran was flying off a roof.
He literally pushed him off.
He literally pushed him off a roof.
Yeah. Oh,
and you see how he was at this point. He's man, I hate Jaime. And then you see Jaime here, who you are now rooting for him.
Yeah. Exactly. And Bran sticks up to him. He doesn't really tell him, that he pushed me off the cliff.
Yeah.
Or the tower.
Yeah, because he knows they would have killed him.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what he says.
Exactly.
If I would have told them, then you would have been dead. And
so let's get into why you didn't like episode 2. We have a good 10 minutes, so let's talk about...
Only 10 minutes, guys?
Why you didn't like...
I feel like it's a continuous build-up from episode 1 to episode 2.
Okay.
And I don't feel like anything really kind of came into motion. If something would have kind of just oh my gosh, the only thing that I really kind of came into light was that Jon and Dany had that conversation, and that was it. It's oh, now winter's coming. Now, now the Night King's coming, and then that's where it ended, and it felt like we only have 6 episodes.
Right.
We only have 6 episodes.
Yeah.
2 episodes are now the build-up, and I'm just I'm just so used to it.
Episode 3 is supposed to be a longer one, like 90 minutes. So an hour and a half. That's really cool. The reason I liked episode 2 is because it gives you it helps give a little bit of a conclusion, or at least a closure to the people who might die. Brienne finally being knighted. Yeah. Right? Tormund finally kind of getting himself in there. Hopefully, if they still make it alive, Brienne might be like, actually, I like that he respects me. You know what I mean? Jaime being able to knight someone and kind of feel satisfied that he did something as a knight that was noble and just rather than what he's done in his whole life. You know what I mean? Tyrion finally being able to talk to Bran. I mean, he says in like the first season, you know, when I get myself back down to, you know, whatever, from the wall or back to Winterfell, I want to have a discussion with him to see what he's learned. And he sits there. Now, what sucks is that you don't get to hear the conversation, but, you know, it might have been just a good one. It might have been something that helped give Tyrion a clue into what he can do in the future. To me, it was almost like a closure episode where everything good was happening, which means that everything bad's going to happen in the next episode. If there was no closure in episode 2, we'd be pretty upset when we see people dying and not really getting that last little like bit of, you know, character time.
I forgot where I read it, but someone kind of brought up, it's that whole Titanic scene where right before everything kind of just hits, it's calm, everything's good, everything's going great.
Right.
So taking it for what it is, everyone's coming to a point to where they're taking their last, like, we're gonna do our last drinking. Brienne was knighted. Arya and Gendry have sex. Like, you know, I mean, Arya gets to finally talk to the Hound.
Yeah.
And they really it's not really much of a closure, but it's a closure to them. Like, they obviously are, like, you know, not at odds with each other. There's obviously this sense of, like, hey, you know, not necessarily care, but, like, a care, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I have a lack of better words, but there's just this sense of, like, everyone's just trying to...
There's a slight, like... almost a slight empathy together. Like, they both understand each other, even though they still don't really like he respects her because of who she is and how, like, strong and bold she is as a, you know, as a person, that he's grown to like her because he feels like maybe he's taught her a few things, almost like a father figure. And then she just kind of like understands him in the sense of, yeah, he may have taught me things, but I still, like, you know, he was still on my list type of thing.
Yeah. What's going to be interesting, she's using a spear, right?
She's using a spear, but the spear seemed to have something with it. Like, it seemed to entail something different. You know, it wasn't just a spear. I think it has a special trick to it. Interesting. Because, I mean, obviously it has dragon glass. Yeah, because the way her diagram is, it almost looks like it separates.
Oh, maybe it could.
And it's almost like, maybe like think of like Darth Maul's like lightsaber where it goes out of the side, but then now he can detach.
A page out of Starbucks. I see you, Game of Thrones.
You know, so I don't know.
Let's see.
But yeah, no, I think it was a good episode. I think I like it because of the closure, because I know that what's coming next is gonna be really crazy.
Yeah.
And I get where you get like the build up type of thing.
Yeah.
Where it's a whole episode of build up, but it's like, I think at this point, because this is the last and final season, there needs to be closure. Or else it would just feel empty.
But what I'm saying is, what I'm going to argue is, I think if they would have further expounded on the whole conversation between Jon and Dany and gave that a little bit more, to where there's actually a little bit more of a conflict there. Yeah. And you got to see a little bit more rather than kind of just like, oh my God. And then it's like, oh, okay, they're going to stop now. And then, you know, they're going to get prepared for war. Like, I felt like that's where it's kind of just like I wanted a little bit more.
Dany needs to know, but it's almost like that kind of cliche, like, oh, I've told you, oh, but something just happened, so now we need to work together. So maybe it's enough for her, because now they're working together, to be like, okay, I could see how you fight. I could see how good your character is. Yes, you are the rightful king, and I will bow down to you.
I don't know. I feel like that's too...
I mean, that's
I don't think that's Dany. I really don't. I think Dany is just hell-bent. I mean, this is what she's been bred on towards, for years now.
Yeah.
And so So she feels like she has this right, and then I think she's going to continue to fight for this right.
I think they'll eventually come to the conclusion that they need to marry, since they both love each other.
Or someone's going to die.
If they marry, you have the North and the South right there in their hand. Yeah. So it's like, and she gets to be queen on the throne, and he gets to be king on the throne.
North. Yeah, king of the North, So that'll be, and then they settle in Castle Rock, and right in the middle, right there. I don't know if it's in the middle, but
I think Tyrion will be in Castle Rock.
Me too, honestly.
Or he'll still be a hand, and he'll have to be down in King's Landing.
I see maybe Jorah as becoming hand because he was the rightful person.
I see Jorah dying.
Yeah, you're right. I feel a lot of people are gonna die.
Though we actually have a prediction thing going, and he did right on the list. He did right that Arya and Gendry get it on, and that's what happened. That's
Arya
what happened.
And Gendry, they got it on.
In the episode you didn't like, you got to check off a prediction that was correct.
It's kind of
so you know what? You should be happy about it.
Bittersweet.
You should be happy about it.
Arya got laid. I guess I'm happy for her. Whatever.
I like that there was a meme. There was a meme where someone's like, "You realize that Arya went and saw the Hound first, but then got cockblocked by Beric Dondarrion, so she went to Gendry instead."
No, I mean that.
Oh yeah, totally.
I still stand behind my Sansa and Hound.
That's weird.
It's weird. No one's going to do it. It's not going to happen, but I still want it to happen.
That is okay. Well,
he protected her from a lot. She could have been raped severely.
She was dead multiple times. Where was he when they married Ramsay?
Fucking around with his sister.
All right. Well, that is our episode. Thank you so much for watching. What did you think of episodes 1 and 2? Tell us your predictions, and we'll see if they come true. Comment down below if you liked the video. Check out some other videos that we have, and be sure to tell all your friends that Game of Thrones is on Sundays.
For 4 more weeks.
For 4 more weeks.
2 more podcasts, basically.
2 more podcasts. Episodes 3 and 4, episodes 5 and 6. We're going to have a fun one. Mm-hmm. These next couple weeks. So we will see you then. Thanks for watching. We'll check you next time. Cheers.